Good evening, this is STV News. In a case where two executives of a gangster were shot with pistol on a residential street in Amagasaki City, Hyogo Prefecture, the prefectural police said on the 4th that one of the injured was unidentified. It was revealed that the executive of the Kobe Yamaguchi-Gumi and the head of the Furukawa-Gumi. The whereabouts of the two men who fled are unknown, and the prefectural police are investigating on suspicion of attempted murder, considering that there is a possibility of conflict between the gangsters. At around 2:40 a.m. on the 4th, a resident called 110 at Himejima, the Shidogawa-ku, Osaka, saying it smells burnt. According to the city fire department, a two-story wooden house was completely burned down, and two bodies were found in burnt remains. The fire spread 5 buildings, including adjacent kindergarten and private house, and was almost extinguished after about an hour and a half. No one else was injured. The House of Representatives Budget Committee was attended by Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga and all ministers on the morning of the 4th, and asked basic questions. The Prime Minister said he is not thinking about adding new nuclear power plants at this time, as means of achieving the goal of virtually zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. Answer to Yukio Edano, the representative of the Constitutional Democratic Party. Chief Cabinet Secretary Katsunobu Kato said at the press conference on the 4th that he would like to continue to pay close attention to the U.S. presidential election, which has begun accounting votes as a result of the election as the Japanese government, including the possible consequences. The Bank of Japan announced the agenda of the monetary policy meeting held on September 16th and 17th. Policymakers agreed that the domestic economy remains in a difficult state due to the effects of the new coronavirus infection, but is picking up as economic activity gradually resumes. Some members said the economy seems to have bottomed out in April to June. The Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries announced on the 4th that Egypt has completely abolished the import restriction on Japanese food products that it has continued since the accident of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant of Tokyo Electrical Power Company. It has been possible to ship food products from 47 prefectures without attaching a radioactive substance inspection certificate or certificate of origin. Witricity, a non-contact wireless charging technology company, announced that it has completed a $34 million investment round, Stage 1 Ventures. A U.S. venture capital firm led the investment with the participation of Airwaves Wireless Electricity, and Mitsubishi Corporation made a strategic investment through its U.S. subsidiary, Mitsubishi Corporation in North America. With this capital injection, Witricity will continue to develop wireless charging platforms, expand its intellectual property portfolio, and focus more on wireless charging for the mobility market, such as the electric vehicle, which is gaining attention as a business. On the 4th, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology announced the results of the national survey that 74% of the Board of Education entrust the collection and management of school lunch fees to schools, since the management of collected cash and the remainder of unpaid parents are burdened by faculty and staff. The ministry requested that the ministry proceed with public accounting to transfer operations to municipalities. Chief Cabinet Secretary Katsunobu Kato said at the press conference on the 4th that the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra would come to Japan as the outbreak of the new coronavirus continues. I admitted, he emphasized, I hope to further deepen the bond between the two countries. The orchestra will perform in Kitakyushu, Osaka, Kawasaki, and Tokyo on the 5th to 14th. Masaya Okugawa of Salzburg was thrown in the 20th minute of the second half of 1-2 and scored a goal shortly thereafter. He quickly responded to the capture of the ball by his teammates, pulled out a vertical pass, and shot with his right foot. The tie was screwed into the left corner of the goal and smile burst. That's all for today. See you tomorrow for another news update.